They seem kind, compassionate, understanding. They listen to your struggles. They validate your feelings. They appear to care deeply. And that's exactly what makes them dangerous, because their empathy isn't real. It's a weapon, a tool they use to manipulate, control, and extract what they need from you. They're dark empaths, and they're more dangerous than narcissists because you never see them coming. Today, we expose the 7 telltale signs that someone's kindness is actually psychological control. Because the most effective predators don't look like predators, they look like friends. First, let's be clear about what we're talking about. A dark empath is someone who possesses cognitive empathy, the ability to understand what others feel, combined with dark triad traits, narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. They can read you. They understand your emotions, your needs, your vulnerabilities, but they don't feel for you. They don't care about your well-being. They use their understanding of your internal state to manipulate you more effectively. This is different from a narcissist who lacks empathy entirely. Narcissists are often obvious in their self-centeredness, but dark empaths, they appear empathetic. They mirror compassion. They perform care. And that performance is so convincing that you trust them completely, which is exactly when they strike. Let's examine the 7 telltale signs. Sign 1. Weaponized vulnerability. The first sign is they share vulnerabilities, but strategically. They reveal struggles, but always in ways that benefit them. Real vulnerability is messy, uncomfortable, sometimes poorly timed. It's authentic sharing without an agenda. But dark empaths use vulnerability as a weapon. They calculate what to share, when to share it, and how it will affect you. They might share a struggle that's similar to yours, creating instant connection and trust, but they never share anything that actually diminishes their power or makes them look bad in ways that don't serve them. Their vulnerabilities always have a purpose: to make you feel closer to them, to make you feel safe sharing your own vulnerabilities, to lower your defenses, to create emotional debt. They shared with me, so I owe them. Real empathy shares vulnerability because connection matters. Dark empathy shares vulnerability because manipulation requires it. Watch for this pattern. Do their vulnerable moments always somehow benefit them? Do their struggles always lead to you giving them something? Attention, support, resources, trust? If so, the vulnerability isn't authentic, it's strategic. Sign 2. Selective compassion. The second sign is their compassion has favorites. They're incredibly empathetic toward people they want something from, but cold toward people who can't benefit them. You'll notice they're incredibly kind to their boss, to people with status, to people who can advance their interests. They'll listen for hours to their problems. They'll offer endless support. But to the server at the restaurant, to the person who made a mistake, to someone who can't do anything for them, the compassion vanishes. They become dismissive, cold, sometimes cruel. Real empathy is consistent. It extends to everyone because it's based on recognizing shared humanity. Dark empathy is transactional. It extends only to people worth manipulating. Watch how they treat people who have nothing to offer them. That's who they really are. The compassion toward you, that's what they want you to think they are. Sign 3. Information extraction disguised as care. The third sign is they ask deep questions, but not because they care, because they're gathering intelligence. They seem genuinely interested in your life. They want to know about your past, your traumas, your insecurities, your desires, your relationships, and they listen so attentively. They validate so completely. You feel seen, understood, safe. So you tell them everything. You open up in ways you rarely do. You trust them with your deepest vulnerabilities, and they're filing it all away. Every insecurity you reveal is a button they can push later. Every trauma you share is a weakness they can exploit. Every desire you express is a manipulation vector they can use. Real empathetic listening creates mutual understanding. Dark empathetic listening creates asymmetric information advantage. They know everything about you. You know only what they've strategically revealed about themselves. And in any interaction, the person with more information has more power. Watch for this. Do they ask a lot of deep questions but deflect when you ask them? Do they encourage you to share but remain mysteriously private themselves? Do they remember everything you've told them and bring it up in ways that seem caring but actually feel slightly manipulative? If so, they're not connecting, they're collecting. Sign 4. Emotional loan sharking. The fourth sign is they help you, but you always end up owing more than you borrowed. They're incredibly generous with their support. They'll drop everything to help you. They'll go out of their way. They'll make sacrifices, and they'll never explicitly ask for anything in return. But somehow, you always feel indebted, obliged, like you owe them. And when they need something, which they eventually will, you feel compelled to give it because of everything they've done for you. This is emotional loan sharking. They give help as a loan with massive implicit interest, and they always collect. Real generosity has no strings. It doesn't create debt. It doesn't keep score. When someone helps you authentically, you don't feel burdened by obligation. You feel grateful, but free. But when a dark empath helps you, you feel trapped. The help comes with invisible chains. You're not free to say no to them anymore because after everything they've done for you. Watch for this. Does their help feel freeing or obliging? Do you feel grateful or indebted? Can you say no to them easily, or do you feel guilty even considering it? If you can't say no without guilt, their help wasn't help. It was investment in your compliance.
The fifth sign. Their empathy increases when others are watching. They're most compassionate in public, less so in private. They'll be incredibly supportive in group settings, in front of others, where their compassion can be witnessed and admired. They'll make grand gestures of care. They'll publicly validate you, defend you, support you. But in private, the warmth decreases, the attention drops, the compassion feels more mechanical, less genuine. Why? Because public empathy serves their image. It builds their reputation as a caring person. It makes others trust them. It creates social proof of their goodness. But private empathy doesn't have an audience, so if they're not genuinely empathetic, they don't maintain the performance. Real empaths are consistent in public and private. Their care doesn't depend on who's watching because it's not a performance. Dark empaths modulate based on audience. They're actors playing the role of good person, and actors perform for audiences. Watch for this. Are they significantly more compassionate when others can see it? Do their caring behaviors happen disproportionately in public? Do they seem different when it's just the two of you? If so, you're seeing performance, not personality. The sixth sign. They validate your feelings but subtly direct your conclusions. They make you feel understood while steering your thoughts. You share a problem. They listen empathetically. They validate your feelings completely. You have every right to feel that way. Anyone would feel that way in your situation. And then, subtly, they guide your interpretation. Not overtly, not obviously, but they plant suggestions. They ask leading questions. They offer perspectives that serve their agenda. By the end of the conversation, you feel supported, understood, validated, but you've also adopted conclusions they wanted you to reach. And because they validated your feelings first, you're not defensive. You're receptive. You think these conclusions are yours. This is sophisticated manipulation. They're using empathy to bypass your critical thinking. You feel emotionally supported, so your rational guard drops and their suggestions slide in without resistance. Real empathy helps you find your own conclusions. It supports your process without directing your outcomes. It trusts your ability to figure things out. Dark empathy guides you to specific conclusions that benefit the manipulator. The validation is just the sugar that helps the poison go down. Watch for this. After conversations with them, do you often end up thinking or doing that benefits them? Do their supportive conversations somehow always lead to outcomes that serve their interests? Do you feel like you made your own decisions, but somehow you're always doing what they wanted? If so, the validation is manipulation. The seventh sign, empathy that isolates. The seventh and most dangerous sign, their empathy subtly separates you from other support systems. They're so understanding, so supportive, they get you in ways others don't. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, they become your primary source of emotional support. Other relationships, they subtly undermine them. I noticed your friend really didn't understand what you were going through, but I do. Your family seems to appreciate you less than they should, but I see your value. They never outright tell you to cut people off. That would be obvious. Instead, they create contrast. They're always more understanding, more supportive, more available than anyone else, until you start relying on them exclusively. This isolation serves them, because isolated people are controllable people. When you have only one source of support, you can't afford to lose that source, so you become compliant, tolerant of behaviors you wouldn't normally tolerate, unable to leave even when you should. Real empathy connects you to multiple support systems. It encourages healthy relationships with various people because it recognizes that no single person can meet all needs. Dark empathy isolates you, makes you dependent, becomes your only source, because dependent people are manipulable people. Watch for this. Has your support system shrunk since knowing them? Do you find yourself going to them for everything and others for nothing? Have they subtly criticized or undermined your other relationships? If so, the empathy is a cage, not a connection. If you're seeing multiple of these signs in someone, you're likely dealing with a dark empath. Not someone having a bad day, not someone with occasional manipulation, but someone who systematically uses empathy as a control mechanism. And here's what's crucial to understand. Dark empaths are often more dangerous than obvious narcissists or psychopaths because they're camouflaged. They look like the safest people, the most trustworthy, the most caring. So you let them close, you trust them completely, you share everything, and by the time you realize something's wrong, they have enormous power over you. If you're currently entangled with a dark empath, extraction is difficult but necessary. Here's how. First, stop sharing vulnerabilities. They need information to manipulate. Stop providing it. Share surface level only. Keep your real struggles private or share them with people who don't exhibit these patterns. Second, diversify your support. Rebuild connections with others. Don't rely on them exclusively. The more distributed your support system, the less power they have. Third, carefully question your conclusions. After conversations with them, examine your thoughts. Did I come to this conclusion, or did they guide me to it? Does this serve me, or does it serve them? Fourth, test their consistency. Real empaths are consistent across contexts. Test whether they maintain the same compassion in private when nothing's at stake, when no one's watching. If the compassion is performative, it will vary. If it's real, it won't. Fifth, establish boundaries and observe their response. Dark empaths hate boundaries because boundaries prevent manipulation. Set a clear boundary. Watch what happens. Do they respect it, or do they guilt you, manipulate around it, make you feel bad for having it? Their response to boundaries tells you everything. Not everyone who's kind is a dark empath. Most empathetic people are genuinely empathetic. They care. They want to help. Their compassion is real. But dark empaths exist, and they're more common than you might think.
Studies suggest that a significant portion of people score high on both empathy measures and dark triad traits. So you need discernment. You need to be able to tell the difference between genuine compassion and weaponized empathy. Real empathy empowers you. It helps you grow, heal, become more autonomous. It respects your boundaries. It doesn't create dependence. It doesn't isolate you. It doesn't require you to owe something in return. Dark empathy disempowers you. It makes you dependent, obligated, isolated, controllable. It serves the empath's needs while appearing to serve yours. Learn the difference. Your psychological safety depends on it. This is mind armor, where manipulation is exposed, where patterns are recognized, where psychological control is dismantled through awareness. You don't have to become cynical. You don't have to stop trusting everyone. You don't have to isolate yourself. You just have to be discerning, to know that kindness can be real or weaponized, that empathy can be genuine or strategic, that some people care about you, and some people care about what they can extract from you. Know the 7 signs. Watch for the patterns. Protect yourself from predators who wear the mask of compassion.